fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand. Fear's not allowed, where dreams can be lost or found.
Welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm Traci Crampton.
And I'm Rosemary Lachance. And we are Reiki facilitators. Mm-hmm. And the show tonight
is on chakras. I know that's a word that's thrown out there a lot, and there's a little bit of misunderstanding about what chakras can be.
Yes.
So we're here to explain it for you tonight.
That's right. And I think to start out, in about a minute, we'll have a picture up there to show you what the chakras look like on your body, how they're shaped, and the colors and everything. That picture will be coming up in a couple of seconds.
There we go.
There you go. So you can see that we have 7 chakras, basic, main chakras. We have smaller chakras in our hands and in our feet, and many smaller ones all over our body. But we're going to focus tonight on the main ones. And you can see from the picture that the one coming from the top is white, which is our center of mercy. The next one is purple, which is our center of love. The next one, which is right in the forehead. The third one is in the throat area, and that's blue, and it's called the patience. The fourth one is in the chest area, right where the heart is, and it's green, and it's called earnestness. The next one is yellow, and it's right in the stomach area, the upper stomach, and that's called wisdom. The next one is in right where your navel would be, your belly button, so to speak, and that's called will, and it's orange. And the root chakra is right at the base of the spine, and it's red, and it's called order.
Right. Thank
you.
And before we get started on how chakras began, I thought a little definition for the audience would be good. A chakra is defined as, it's actually a Sanskrit word, which means wheel. And a chakra is a vortex, like a spinning wheel that actually pulls in energy from our surroundings. It also has the effect of pushing out. So if you can imagine this pulling action, a circular like whirlpool of energy that sucks the energy from around us, pulls it into us, and then shoots some of our own personal energy back out into our surroundings. So that's just a brief definition of chakra.
And I'm going to give you one theory, on how chakras began. Okay. We were created as spirit beings and given the kingdom of our Father God, Mother God, all spirit, whatever you'd like to call him. Because of something that happened called the fall, we descended to earth, which God created for us, and our once beautiful spirit body became more and more condensed, as was our energy potential. And our ether body became smaller and smaller, and 7 garments developed around it. We call this shadowed cover body the soul. You've heard us many religions talk about the soul. The soul is the book of life. All sensations, thoughts, words, and actions, whether positive or negative, are recorded in it. The negative vibrations constitute the shadowing, the burden of the soul. They are the garments or veils of clouds which keep away the divine light. Because of this increasing condensation, the soul became encapsulated more and more. The 7 garments, also called soul garments, drew together into spiritually condensed points which are called consciousness centers or chakras. Via these consciousness centers, the formation of our coarse material bodies ensued and man came into being. The human body is, so to speak, the vehicle of the soul with which it moves here in this earthly plane as matter.
Now, a lot of people think that the word chakra is a New Age term because it's been thrown around a lot. If you take yoga courses or Tai Chi or practice any alternative discipline, you hear the word quite a bit. But it isn't just a New Age word. It's actually been around throughout history. It's very entrenched in the Indian tradition and the yoga traditions. So it has quite a history. And there are some various definitions on the chakras. And I know that Rosemary and I, we both, learned through individual teachers what those definitions are. But we'll share with you tonight our thoughts on them. Just to let you know, chakras really aren't something that you can see. As energy practitioners, we develop a skill for feeling them through the palms of our hand, just sensing that energy that's being pulled in and pushed out from the chakras. But they really do exist in what's called our subtle body, in our energy field. And so it's not something that you can physically see, but they do, however, correlate with physical parts of our body. They're located along our spinal cord. They correspond with the major nerve ganglia and also with the glands in our endocrine system. They begin at the base of the spine and they travel up they're about a palm length apart from one another, all the way up to the crown of our head. And some people believe that we have chakras that continue through our energy field going up and going down into the earth. And there are some people who believe too that we have mirrored chakras in our energy field, like outside of us. So there are a lot of different there's a lot of different information out there, but we hope to provide you with some information that will help you understand what chakras do for you.
What I don't know if you've heard the word Kundalini.
Yes.
And that's at the base of the spine. It's an energy center, a vortex. It's a basin, a collective basin where the energy comes. And when you meditate and you go down through all your centers, aligning them, so to speak, just aligning them as you go down, and then you end up at the root chakra, and then you go into this basin, Kundalini or basin, whatever you'd like to call it, collective basin, and the energies are there, and you literally with your mind you pull them up through your chakras all the way up, and it goes up like as if it was a long pipe or along the tailbone and so forth, and the energy enlightens each one. It makes it stronger and enlightens it.
Right. And I was taught with Kundalini, it's as if it's like a contained ball of fire, and once you learn how to go within and connect with that, you can learn how to raise that light, raise that heat up through your spinal cord. And like Rosemary said, it helps you to get all of those chakras spinning the
and
way
you should
they
really learn about it before you.
Yes, because it could be a very powerful experience.
Yes, very powerful. If you don't know what you're doing,
you should see a trained professional, because it really, people have had, if you raise your Kundalini too fast, it could really play with your emotions and do some damage. So it's something that you want to be prepared for and be well trained in.
Really. Taking meditation courses and learning and reading and going through teachers and so forth to do this.
So it could be a very spiritual experience as well, but it could be so powerful that it might cause you some kickback, I would say, some problems.
Like a bad trip on LSD or something like that, I've never tried it, but I've heard that it can be terrible, but it's not that bad. But we're saying that, it's not something you fool around with. It's because it's real.
Absolutely.
It's very real.
And one thing I wanted to say is that, the development of our chakras also correlates with our human development. And also with our evolutionary development. So if you look at when we go through each chakra as the program continues, I'll talk a little bit about how that connects with, like, for instance, our root chakra develops when, primarily when we're infants, or if you look at it from an evolutionary standpoint, it developed evolutionarily from, our primitive times and on up. So we are developing each chakra throughout our evolution and also throughout our growth, in this one body that we have here on Earth. So.
So we'll start with the root chakra.
Right.
Okay. And that one is at the base of the spine in the coccyx section.
And maybe we could bring that picture up again too, while we're talking about it, so that you can see
there
it.
you go. Okay, I'm talking about the red one there on the bottom between the legs. And it's the color red, and the sense that's affected by it is your sense of smell. Now, if you are harmonious, if you are aligned, the degree to which we feel grounded, connected to the earth and the fullness of life.
Right.
It gives us the sense of being stable, satisfied, inner strength, easy to achieve goals, manifest them, feel secure, and can trust and accept everything life has for you with thanks. Can be flexible with cyclic changes. And it's a place where our thoughts are controlled. Putting order into our thoughts, not scattering how.
It's really our foundation. It's our security. It's the development of our security. So, like, if you talk about an infant, when you're an infant, you depend on people around you for your security. They fill your needs. It's really very primal. It's about satisfying your human needs. Where you live, your shelter, your getting food. Safety, security.
Exactly. Now, if it's disharmonious, this is what happens. Thoughts revolve around material possessions and security, good times, etc. That's what your thoughts will revolve around. You don't consider the consequences of your actions. It's difficult to let go. You must satisfy your need without acknowledging needs of others or your own body, like your nourishment, your rest, and so forth. You tend to get easily irritated, upset. There may also be rage, anger, violence, indicating lack of trust and fear of losing security.
Right.
Physically, you may experience constipation, diarrhea, or overweightness, sciatica, or pain in the sacrum or lower back. May also experience pain in the knees, lack of support.
Yeah, and
you can take the sign down now. Thank you.
Just to reaffirm, our chakras correlate with both physical, mental, and emotional things within us. So if they're in harmony, we benefit from the harmony of the chakra rotating properly and pulling in that energy and feeding the organs within that area. If they're in disharmony, then we suffer from imbalances within our organs. Also, it relates to certain emotions. So when we talk about the root chakra, we're also looking at phobias are very common for somebody who has trouble with the development of this chakra, and that's because it is really our base, and it's about having that security. So if we don't have that spinning properly and the energy is not coming in, we could feel very fearful for our own survival.
Yes, I have a list here. Worrisome, feeling spacey or not totally there, lack of ability to concentrate, lack of physical, emotional stamina, demands of everyday life can be difficult. Almost feeling like you don't even belong here on Earth.
Right.
That's what happens when that is not spinning properly.
And it connects with our feeling within. It's similar to like a tribal feeling connected to others, our family, our roots, feeling that we have a history here on Earth. It really connects with that too. And if we've had a proper, infancy, this could be very well developed in us, and that might be why, if we're not experiencing a lot of fears or anger, problems with anger, it's because we had those needs taken care of in our infancy. We felt secure, the people around us were supportive, and they really helped to build that strong foundation There's also a sacred truth that goes along with the first chakra, and it's all is one, because it's really about how we are all connected, and how we connect with this earth.
Okay. Okay, the next one up from that is the will. It's called the center of will, the consciousness center of will.
And I had actually learned it as creativity too, and we have it blends. All of these two blend in the same area.
Yeah, we have a little difference here, but it's the same thing, and it's orange, and it's around it's
right in the lower abdominal area here.
Right. It takes care of the pelvic area, the reproductive organs, the kidneys, the bladder, the blood, the lymph.
Right.
And if it's harmonious, you can go with the natural flow of life and feelings. You're open towards others, you feel energy flowing, creativity and enthusiasm are stimulated, feelings are undistorted, there's a vibrancy of life. Now, if it's not harmonious, if it's disharmonious, people may use sex as a drug or a panacea, or they may be inhibited due to lack of touch or tenderness at an early age, as Traci was saying. They may experience uncertainty and or tensions with the opposite sex. They're always looking for fulfilling sexual relationship. No sense of childlike wonder in life. Right. Physically, it's low back pain, dis-ease of reproductive organs, bladder, cramps, colon dis-ease.
And the sacred truth I had learned about the second chakra is that it's honor one another. So we move up from all is one to honoring one another, and it has a lot more to do with our personal relationships, with like a one-on-one relationship with either the opposite sex or somebody close to us. It's about developing those personal relationships, and also about creating something from the void. I mean, it relates to our creative organs, our sexual organs, so it's about giving birth, not necessarily a physical birth. It could be, giving birth to something in our careers. So it relates to that too. And if we have difficulty doing that, we could, develop problems. Sometimes we see fibroids in women, or ovarian cancers, prostate problems with men. It relates to this ability to create. So you see some problems with reproduction if that gets blocked.
Because it's called will, so there may be some willfulness that's going on there too. That's a good thing to look at and examine about yourself.
Right.
If you're very willful, in other words, you want your way no matter what cost, or who it's going to bother, who it's going to hurt, and forcing your will on other people, making someone subject to you, having control over someone. Are you controlling? If you're having problems in that area, you might look at those kinds of things.
Right, and I have here too that in terms of our evolution, our cultural evolution, it relates to the agricultural period of our evolution, where we learned to transport water, and we created communities. That actually this second chakra is controlled by the element of water, and it involves also the flow. If you're feeling a lot of clutter in your life, things are cluttered in your home or in your surroundings, typically what we'll see is they're cluttered here in this area when you come in for, a Reiki treatment, that this is where a lot of people hold their clutter, and it affects their digestion as well.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So it says here that if it's insufficient, feelings are suppressed and denied.
Right.
Development of sexual energies were blocked if the parents weren't tender and affectionate, creating a lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence, coldness, inability to express emotions, depression, withdrawal from others. Life seems dreary, not worth living.
Menopausal problems.
Yeah, is that all there is? That's
right.
what
and
you think all the time.
If it's strong, I mean, we tend to be able to use our creative powers in life. We tend to be able to develop, our writing skills or our artistic skills, and give birth to something outside of ourselves. And it also helps us to relate to people better when this area is strong. It helps us to form warmer relationships. And also, it has a lot to do with our personal identity, you know, how we sell ourselves to others, how we express ourselves in our warmth and our gregariousness.
Okay, we're going to the next one.
Moving on. Yep.
The next one is in the solar plexus area.
Right.
That chakra is yellow, and we call it wisdom.
Right. Where I actually learned it as the will.
Right.
Well, we have a different take,
Yeah.
but the general meaning is the same, and the what it relates to is the same.
Exactly. You may find this different in different places, different
Right.
beliefs, and so forth. The psychological function is the lower back, the abdominal cavity, the digestive tract, the stomach, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, and the spleen. It affects the sense of sight. If it's harmonious, you have harmony and inner peace with yourself and your life and your place in life. You accept others and others right where you are. You accept yourself and others right where you are.
Right.
You're full of light and energy, and it protects you. It radiates from you. Magnetic, attracting everything you are in search of. Known that abundance is your birthright. If it's disharmonious, you want to have your way in all matters. You want to be in control, exercise your power.
Right.
If you weren't accepted in youth, then you seek acceptance from outside yourself, since you have no feelings of acceptance from within yourself. You need to be active to avoid feeling inadequate or seeing shortcomings and being judgmental and critical. Difficult to let go and relax. Feel it's all up to me. I have to control everything. I have to make it all work. You get upset and frustrated easily, and you feel bitterness and resentment.
Yes.
A
And
low self-esteem.
Like the sun, you know, this chakra is represented with the color yellow, and it is like the sun. It is our power to go forth. It propels us, and it helps us to illuminate our path if it is rotating properly and it's harmonious. And the sacred truth of the third chakra is honor oneself. So it really is about understanding oneself, you know, as an individual. It's very much about me as an individual, and your uniqueness. And it relates to, in human development, it relates to like early adulthood, when we come into our skills and we go forth in the world and we start to utilize our skills. Okay.
So if it's insufficient, like when we're working on it, we find that it's not sufficient, this is in order to receive parental teacher approval, you're held back. You hold back expression of emotions.
Expression.
Yeah, suppressed more than you were able to digest. This built up in the solar plexus, which drains you, leaving you tired and discouraged and perceiving obstacles to fulfillment of desires. Insecure about the ability to get anything accomplished. You feel nervous, facing a difficult situation. You know how your stomach tenses up? You feel unable to cope, and you avoid new challenges. You perceive yourself as weak. You gave away your power to other authorities as a child. And this can happen when parents are not loving and understanding and compassionate, when they're domineering, when they try to live their life through you, when they want you to accomplish, and never just saying to you, you know, it's okay, you're my child. Yeah, be who you
allowing
are.
Allowing the child to express their uniqueness.
Right, be a free spirit, and just being loved for that.
Absolutely.
And that unfortunately happens a lot.
This really is the core of our personality, and our ability to relay that personality in the world. Also, it affects physically, it affects our stomach, our pancreas, our adrenals, our upper intestines, our gallbladder, our liver, the middle of our spine, our digestion, and the conversion of food into matter. So if you're having difficulty with those organs, the chakra comes into play, and getting that working is important. I think a lot of us have difficulty, and it could be that you're expressing your will a little too much or not enough. That's how the energy disturbances start.
All right. The fourth chakra is the heart. And we call it earnestness. The psychological function of it is, physiological function is upper back, the heart, the rib cage and chest cavity, the lower lungs, the blood, the circulatory system, and the skin.
And the immune system. The immune system this is really where everything is balanced, and our immune system is the balancing, balancing our body, the good and the bad bacteria in our body.
Right.
It also controls the thymus gland. It relates to the thymus gland. And it really is the balancer and the equilibrium point. It also could affect our chest and our shoulders if you're feeling a lot of tension in your shoulders or that constriction in your chest. This is a constriction in that chakra as well. Also, it helps us to metabolize our nutrition. It really helps us with the feelings of love and intimacy and our domestic relations, feeling harmony within your household, feeling harmony within your life. This really is the area where it all gets balanced.
It's the channel of divine love.
It absolutely is.
You can change the world about you. You feel that way. You want to unite people. You want to heal differences. You radiate warmth, sincerity, joy, compassion, willingness. You give unconditionally.
Right.
You feel safe and comfortable with all creation. You see all creation as a part of you, the oneness that we all have.
Right.
If it's harmonious, this is how you should feel. This is what it stands for. If it's disharmonious, you may give freely, but without being connected with the source of love. May secretly expect recognition for love and give, for the love you give, and are disappointed if you're not appreciated.
Right.
That happens a lot. Unable to accept love from others. Difficult for you to receive it. You could even be embarrassed by it. And the physical things that can go wrong when this is not working right: heart disease, bronchial problems, asthma, weak immune system, difficulty breathing, weak arms. You feel vulnerable to energy, dependent on love or affection of others, sad and depressed if rejected and withdrawn from the world, shut down, appear cold-hearted, to protect yourself from feeling it all.
Right, right. And really this is considered the platform of your clearest guidance, and that's because it takes all of the information from your lower chakras and all of the information you receive from your upper chakras, and it just centers here and helps you to really get the clearest guidance you need. And really it is about unconditional love, about seeing all the circumstances around you and being able to love it all. The lower energies and the higher energies, and understanding what they all have, to help us with, what it's all there for. And also it transmutes the earth energies, like I said, all the lower chakras, all the information from the lower chakras, and all of the spiritual energies that come from our upper chakras. It transmutes them and into love, into pure love.
What it's all about.
Yep. And so I find this is really when we're working, I'm not sure if you have the same experience, but this is where people are most vulnerable. I feel that because it's such a powerful chakra, people tend to be very closed in this area, or maybe they're overly open, where they're very vulnerable. So.
All right. The next one is the fifth. It's in the throat. It's the throat chakra, and it's light blue. And it affects the lungs, the bronchioles, the esophagus, vocal cords, throat, jaw, thyroid, and parathyroid. It affects, the sense effects is your hearing. Now, if it's harmonious, and then you can fully express your feelings, your thoughts, your inner knowledge freely and without fear. You can remain silent to listen to others with your heart. You can remain true to yourself and say no when necessary. You have to say no sometimes. Independent, self-determined, not manipulated by others. Trusting your place in the hands of, You feel a trusted place in the hands of the universe. You can creatively communicate with all forms of life, and clairaudience develops. Okay,
Right.
clairaudience is when you have the ability to see spirit.
Well, here, actually, clairaudience.
I'm sorry, that's
To hear,
clairvoyance, to hear spirit.
Really, the fifth chakra is about sound. It relates to sound, how we express ourselves through communication and how we receive that communication in return. Also is related to air, the element air, and how we take in air and how we give out air. So again, air is very related to expression. It's the chakra where if it's in disbalance, you feel a sense of anxiety, a lack of calm. When you think of the color blue, which it relates to, blue is a very calming color. And also, if like for instance, if a child is having difficulty with their growth, it really controls the growth hormone. So if there's a lack of growth in a child or maturation, if we're having difficulty maturing even as adults, sometimes like we want to be childlike when we should be the adult. Here we go again. There's a difficulty with that chakra. Also, it relates to the passage of duality to a greater understanding of the larger consciousness. It is about this passage of, okay, now we're no longer in the lower chakras, we're above the heart chakra, and we seem to be able to bridge into the spirit a little more. We're moving into the higher energies, the higher frequencies with the fifth chakra.
If it's disharmonious, it causes a lack of communication between the mind and the body. Feelings shut off and deny expression of emotions. May have difficulty accepting emotions or express them thoughtlessly. Guilt or fears may prevent you from showing your true self, expressing yourself freely. Your language is blatant, coarse, or cool or businesslike to hide your true feelings inside. You may even stutter. Your feelings must appear strong, never weak. This is what you think. Place yourself under a lot of pressure. You raise your shoulders, you pull in your neck to protect self and carry burdens. You hold back your inner self, quiet, shy, withdrawn, get a lump in the throat, and your voice is forced when you're expressing your inner self. Uncertain of others' judgments and don't know what you want. You don't trust your intuitive powers. And physically can cause thyroid disease, sore throat, neck, shoulder, upper back tension can radiate down the arms to the fingers, TMJ and earaches.
Yeah.
And again, that affects, as you said, clairvoyance, clairaudience, which is hearing spirit.
And the fifth chakra, I've heard too, is also considered the teacher. It's because it's our ability to communicate and to share our ideas with the world. It is the teacher. And in human development, we see it, as we get more well into into the adulthood part of our development, and that's when we can share our ideas with others, with the younger ones, and pass on what we know, pass on our knowledge.
And if you're having problems in that area, another thing is you may not have, it's the center of patience, so you may not show patience towards others or patience towards yourself, right? Or you may feel suppressed. You may feel like you can't speak out when you want to speak out, that you can't say the things you really want to say because you're so worried about what people will think of you.
Right.
That's another thing, and that can cause disease. You can get cancer in your thyroid or in areas into the throat from these kinds of things that happen. There's a book by Louise Hay, and she talks about the different parts of the body and what psychological emotion can cause a physical problem in the body.
And that's what we're trying to share here is that
exactly.
It isn't just random. There's a rhyme and a reason for everything that happens to us. And although we might not be able to understand it, our emotions really do connect with the things that happen physically to us. and through the chakras we can see where that connection is.
Exactly. And that's what we try so hard to work on when we do the Reiki for you, is to get these balanced again. And if you do the work, there's also other work that has to be done that you have to do for yourself. It's not easy just to come and get Reiki. There's other things you have to do to help yourself. And once you're all in balance, then it can be healed.
And when I know we talk a lot about on this show about the resistance to heal, and this is something that we pick up a lot of when we're working with the chakras, because you can feel the lack of energy spiraling above the person's body. You can feel that resistance, and our first objective is to really help the client break down that resistance and get that flowing. So in the first appointment or two, you may not really notice a lot of benefit, but there's something going on there. There's a lot going on, and it's about just starting that wheel turning. Just like on a bicycle, I always think of it, like when you're learning to ride a bike, and that those first couple pedals, you have to use all of your might to get it going. It really feels like it's a lot of effort. But once you're really pedaling, before you know it, you're coasting, and it's just happening naturally. So
yeah, Traci, I find some of my clients, when as they get more treatments, they open more and more, and they will do the homework, what they're supposed to do for themselves. And I can see them getting better. And then there's other ones that come in, and I guess because we're habitual creatures, we do everything by habit. Very hard to change. We don't like change very much. We like our little habits, and we get busy with life, and I'm going to take care of this and then I'll do that. I'm going to take care of this and then I'll do that. And then another thing comes up, and another thing comes up, and they never get to do it. And if they don't do the homework, things are not going to change. And it's like, and it could be too maybe because they don't really truly believe. I get that impression sometimes. Do they really truly believe, that this can happen?
Yeah, and I sense a lot too. It has a lot to do with the fears, because with healing comes responsibility.
Yes.
And we can't blame others anymore for our illnesses, our difficult circumstances in life. And as we heal, we start to take responsibility, and that's a difficult step, to take that responsibility.
It is.
And it takes time for some people. And my thought too is, in their time, I mean, sometimes you just need to plant the seed and hope that it grows, and not every plant grows the same at the same speed. So we just got to hang in there. And
a saying I used to like was, when I discovered it, was, no matter what the problem is me.
It's always me.
Yeah, that's
always
right.
me.
That's right. Some people may come and may not be ready, and they may go away for a while and not do it, and then someday they'll awaken and come back again. So you're right. Everything happens
in
at
their
the right
own time.
Exactly.
And really,
nobody's forced to do anything.
If you look at it metaphysically, there is no time supposedly. So our idea of this linear time is maybe not all that accurate.
I think it's how bad you really want to, really want
your
to heal.
Desire to heal.
Your desire. And some people have done some kind of exploration into the spirit, and they're kind of on the threshold, and they're ready. They're ready to accept anything. And others are not ready.
And sometimes that happens in a time of crisis too, where you reach that point. You really want to do whatever it takes. Unfortunately, I wish more people would come in before that point. But
and we talked about childhood, and how our parents didn't give us the nurturing that we wanted or needed to have to grow and so forth. But we can't blame them either, because they had their problems from their parents and whatever. Plus, I truly believe that you pick your parents before you come into this life. You pick the things you want to learn.
I agree with that
and
too.
Certain parents
help you to learn that lesson and to evolve.
So you can't say, my parents, it's not my fault. No.
The same with the relationships we form. We probably have chosen those too, at some point before being here, and
to work something out.
Yeah, it's like the two ragged rocks that brush together. There's a lot of friction there, but in the end, they're all smoothed out. So consider that other person your polisher, you know?
Exactly.
That's really what they're doing, and it may cause a lot of turmoil in your life and upheaval and difficult feelings, but they're polishing you.
But that's what it's all about.
Right.
I've heard some people say, I love my life. Everything is fine and wonderful. But there's no growth.
Yeah.
There's no growth, so, you know,
Well,
unfortunately someday.
slower growth, yeah.
Yeah,
Different
someday
growth. And maybe they had another life where it was a little more challenging, so.
Yeah, exactly. And
If
maybe
that's what
they
you
didn't have to
believe.
do that much or whatever,
Right.
but we all somewhere along the line, there's no one better than anyone else, is what I'm
Nope.
trying to say. Somehow, some way, we learned our lesson, or we have to
Absolutely.
learn our lesson,
Yeah.
and we have to learn so we can get back home. All right, so now the next one.
Moving on to the sixth chakra.
Center, third eye, in the middle of the forehead, one finger above the eyes, and the color is an indigo. The color is a
Indigo,
purple.
yeah. It's indigo. It's like
Indigo, blue,
is like
purplish.
a combination of purple and blue.
Yes.
Yes.
And affects all the senses, including extrasensory perception, which is clairvoyance. That's the one I
Right.
was talking, being able to see spirit. If it's harmonious, you have an active mind, advanced intellectual skills, you're able to visualize and comprehend things intuitively, mind composed and open to mystic truths.
Right.
Thoughts and ideas come true. You can see through the illusion of the material world and see the inner reality of things, and clairvoyance may develop.
Right.
If it's disharmonious, you may be over-mental, overuse of your reason and your intellect. As they say, it's all in my head. I only use my head. That's it. You can't stop thinking. You can only accept what you perceive with a rational mind. You're analytical. You lack the holistic way of seeing things. You'll only accept what's proven by science. You reject spiritual insight. You try to force your ideas on others to demonstrate your power or satisfy spiritual needs. Physically, there's eye strain, poor vision, headache, tension, sinuses.
Right.
You only accept the external world as reality. You're dominated by material desires, physical needs, hidden emotions. Spiritual reflection and discussion strains you. It's a waste of time, you think. It's senseless, you think. You lose your head in demanding situations, get forgetful and confused, and can't think clearly.
All right. This is also the center of your dream activity. If you have a very busy dream life, this is active in your chakra here is very active. It also helps to connect us with the spirit realm. It helps us to regulate light in our bodies, bringing in light into our bodies. It controls the pineal gland and the light-sensitive hormone called melatonin, which regulates our sleep instinct. So it helps us to understand, okay, now we're tired, now we need sleep, okay, we've had enough sleep, it's time to wake up. So it really helps to regulate all of that in our, in our physical being. And it's also where, if we set forth a conscious intention, it's set forth from this chakra. In terms of, intending to manifest things in your life, intending to reach certain goals. It's where that energy is thrown forth from.
It's called a center of love. And I have seen people who hold a lot in there. But they were not loved, crying out for love, wanting love. There's a lot of pain. I remember one person who burst out crying when I sent the energy into that center, and everything was held there. But wonderful to say that because of that outburst, one little physical problem they had disappeared.
Wow.
It released.
Yeah.
It released it because they were only holding it.
Holding it there,
They
right.
had found the answers, but they were holding it. So that outburst of tears and the pain, I felt the pain so badly that my eyes were filled with tears.
Wow.
And then,
Yeah,
boom,
I've had that happen
it was gone.
too. You feel that. I've felt the overwhelming sadness. Where
Yes.
it brought
Yeah.
tears to my eyes. And
I can always tell where someone's holding something because I get that terrible
Right.
pain in my heart and that my eyes, cry, just I could feel that, wherever people
Right.
are holding their feelings that are negative or
Right.
their pain, I want to say their pain, their sorrow, whatever chakra they're holding them in, that's where it
Absolutely.
happens,
And I feel too, like if someone's struggling with a mental illness, I sense a lot of energy imbalance in this area because it's, it's a very busy area if you're suffering from a mental illness because it's really activated in terms of, the visualization's almost overstimulated and they're getting lots of impressions, which if they're not rooted with their root chakra, see all of these chakras connect, they're not rooted with their root chakra and that fear is there. If you have the fear and this activity in this visualization center and this psychic impression center of your being mixed with the fear of an imbalance in your root chakra, that could lead to, mental illness, problems with like psychotic thoughts and whatnot. So, there's sometimes it's not just the one chakra that's out of balance that's leading to this overall diagnosis.
No.
It's a combination of
It is.
them.
Combination of different ones, yeah.
Right.
And some of them are just totally shut down.
Yes.
So nothing is happening at all.
Right.
It's just...
And when I'm over somebody's chakra that is just not spinning or doesn't seem to be spinning at all, I just feel like a coldness.
Exactly.
I feel
Yeah.
like almost
That's
like
what I feel.
a
Coldness.
void. It's like a cool breeze just going there, like something. And it's like something needs to be filled. There's an emptiness there that needs to be filled. So in order to fill it, it's like you need to get that chakra rotating, pulling in, it's like a vacuum. Just pulls it into that void and helps to replenish it.
And sometimes we'll do that.
Right. I'll
As we're giving physically
move
move it
your
like that.
hand around.
And I've seen the difference after I put my hand down, back down. I've seen it starts to warm up a little
Right.
bit. It's not instantaneous, but it takes
Right.
time. That's the thing. You have to have patience. It took a long time to get a certain way, and it's going to take a while to get it healed. So you have to have patience
Right.
with yourself.
And I also see that, like, if someone comes and they have, say, their second chakra is overactive and their fifth chakra is underactive, I could actually work to transfer that energy. It's like take this energy and bring it here because it's all energy, and you can get the other chakra that's not moving properly spinning again through the chakra that's spinning very fast, and it's a balancing act. So it's interesting.
It is.
Okay,
All right.
moving on to the seventh chakra.
The seventh chakra on the top of our head is the crown chakra, and it's called the center of mercy.
Right.
I call it the gateway to the kingdom of heaven. It's white and maybe a little purplish tinge
Violet,
to it.
yeah, probably
like a
little
violet.
too.
Yeah. And it's the cerebellum and the cranium. And it's very rarely closed. I noticed that.
Yeah,
A lot of
I do,
energy
yeah.
goes in there. It just whooshes out of my hand into the head, and it gets very
I
hot.
have that same experience
Yeah.
that I rarely find it closed.
So it's either open to a greater or lesser extent. That's what it is, but it's never closed. When it's open, you experience oneness with the source of being and with others. You realize your true self. Your individual ego becomes universal ego. Knowledge comes from within. You
Right.
can fulfill your life's purpose according to the universal design. Light radiates from you and opens the hearts of receptive people.
Right.
If it's open, and more tend to be that way. If it's largely closed, you will feel disconnected, separated from abundance and wholeness, and will not be free of fear. This fear maintains blocks in other chakras, creating disharmony with yourself and others. You may experience feelings of uncertainty or lack of purpose. You may experience fear of death or senselessness to life in general. You may try to control these feelings by excessive activity or by taking on new responsibilities to feel indispensable and with purpose. And physically, various types of cerebral dysfunction, including psychosis, can happen to you with this.
And I have here too that, you know, it relates to our feeling betrayed by our God or divine source. If you have that fear, the chakra's not open as much or working as properly as it should. You know, betrayal of faith, shattering of your fundamental beliefs. I think a lot of us go through that the dark night of the soul. And when we're in that period, this is going on, we really need to kind of work with somebody to help get that energy coming in through our crown chakra once again.
I remember times like that when I felt such blackness.
Right.
I mean, I think that it can open and close depending on how you're thinking, how you're feeling, what's going on. And I remember going through a period where it felt so dark, I thought, oh my God. And at that time I just did a lot of praying.
Yeah.
And it opened up. And then sometimes I'll feel as if there's a little door in my head and it opens.
Right.
And it's like you hear angels going, ta-da, or something, you know, and I say, I got it.
I know, it's that fear,
you know?
that experience where you just know, you know, everything's okay, you know, everything will be okay. You're completely present in the moment. You understand how you're connected to everything and everyone, and, you know, it's those blissful moments.
It is. It's so blissful.
Like
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just, to me, it's physical, like a door opens.
You get that experience. I think this is what happens with, you know, drug addiction, is you get that experience, but then it fades off, and you want that experience again. It's a very high experience. And that's why it's important, you know, to really work with the heart chakra, because those are the highs and lows. You know, this is the high and the root chakra is the low, and none of it's good, bad. We're not making judgments of energies here. Some people really work on developing the upper chakras and they sort of ignore the lower chakras, and I want to stress that it is all important, and really it's all balanced right here in the heart chakra.
Right, you're right. It has to be a total balance.
Total balance.
It'll go back. It'll affect, each one affects the other one.
Absolutely.
So you really have to do that, and that's what we try to do. But it's a wonderful feeling, and you're right. I think that's why people do take drugs, to get that high.
Feeling. Mm-hmm.
Because it feels, to get it naturally, it's just unbelievable. And then as it starts to fade, and they go, oh no, you know.
And like you said, when you work with somebody, you always sense that it's open, and I think that it probably is generally open, but maybe
degrees.
It's
degrees, open, like the door. Is it open a little bit? Is it open a lot?
Because I don't think we ever disconnect. It's really our connection with spirit, and I don't think that we ever really disconnect. It's always.
In the picture, you can see the light, the white light coming from above into the head, and it is our connection. You're absolutely right.
And it also relates to the pituitary gland in the brain. It gives us direct access to the superconscious mind and the higher self. So it's like our higher knowing. You know, it really helps us to connect with, okay, what is really in our best interest? What is our fullest potential? And it helps us to receive messages from our higher self to understand what direction to take in our lives and what our fullest potential can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So anyway.
Well, this is a lesson tonight in the chakras. To give you an idea, we gave you a lot of food for thought.
Yeah, a lot of food for thought.
And you know, you can listen to the program more than once, or if you can get in touch with us with any questions that you might have. We can send you copies of certain literature to help you.
Absolutely.
Or we can steer you to certain literature to help you understand it.
And there are so many ways to help rebalance your chakras. One very, very good one is music. Finding some classical music or some meditative music that has different tones in it, because each tone, like on the musical scale, every key relates to the chakras. Same with the rainbow, every color relates to a different chakra. So if you're feeling that, you know, if you're suffering from a heartache, you know, you say you recently broke up with someone, like green or pinks, to wear them actually on your body, you are going to be pulling in the vibration of that color into the chakra.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, and same with the music. You know, you'll be pulling in the vibration of those musical tones into those chakras and helping to balance them.
There's so many things that help.
And foods. Every food has,
Yes.
you know, every herb is connected with different elements and different frequencies of energy, and will help to harmonize those different chakras as well.
That's right.
So there's so many things you can do. There's so many things therapeutic that you can do.
The smells, the different
smells, aromatherapy.
Aromatherapy,
Yeah.
and the beautiful music, and gentle massage
Right.
can get you, you know, back into that nice touch, being touched, whether it's through Reiki or massage or reflexology, whatever it is, being touched is a wonderful thing. We humans love touch. We love to hug one another. We love to kiss one another. We love to rub one another. We love it. We love that feeling.
Yeah, to be touched.
Yeah, and so this is all good for you. That helps you to get into that harmonious mood again.
Absolutely.
Relaxing in a nice warm bath. Water is wonderful for you.
Water, yeah.
Water is
and again,
excellent.
you know, all of the elements. If I often, you know, I often teach about grounding when I meet with clients, because I find that that's a common problem, is that we are not in touch with the earth. We are not in touch with the environment, and just going out into nature, taking a walk, touching a leaf, touching the dirt, this really helps to ground us. And without that grounding, we could feel like just way too much anxiety. We can feel like not connected with our body. So it's very important to feed every chakra.
It is.
Yep.
I remember days when I had my own home, when I used to dig into the soil to put flowers, and just the feeling of getting your hands into that earth. It's just a wonderful thing. And looking at that beautiful little flower, that is life. That flower is life. And your animals, your pets.
Right.
Looking at your animals, playing with them, looking in their eyes. Animals are pure love. Cats are independent more, but dogs are just so loving. No matter what you do or say to them, if you get angry with them and you call them, they'll come running to you. They know the meaning of love. Animals, nature, mineral kingdoms, they're totally in touch with the heavens all the time, the pure spirit all the time.
Right.
And
so there's just so many things you can do. There's different exercises, and then if you know, say it's your fifth chakra, the throat chakra, that's needs a little boost, get together with some friends, have some laughs, communicate. So that, you know, there are just so many things you can do.
even freestyle dancing.
Right. Freestyle.
By yourself. You don't want anybody to look at you. Okay, close the door, put on some nice new age kind of music, and just dance around, you know, nice and soft moves with your arms and your legs, and open yourself up. That's a wonderful.
And of course you could come see us, right?
Exactly.
So that's the best bet. You could come see us and get your chakras balanced. That would be a wonderful thing.
That's
So
right.
what we're going to do is we're going to tell you how to get in touch with us, okay? Here's our contact information. You can contact Rosemary at 203-627-7966. And my number is 203-232-3405. And here we go with our email. If you want to email your questions to the show, you can do that at healoutsidethebox@yahoo.com. And here's a quote for tonight to leave you with.
Okay.
For a little source of inspiration.
From our wonderful book of courage. And it's called, this is what it is: nothing occurs by accident, and there are no coincidences. Our lives are divinely designed for and by each of us to get exactly what we need to support our own evolutionary process.
Thank you. And we want to say good night.
Thank you for
See
joining.
As you look out through the window to the world you have made, always know you are the vision. See the truth, darkness fades.